In the frost-bitten wilderness of Antarctica, the frozen silence was broken only by the howling wind, a mournful dirge for the dead. The remains of Outpost 31 lay buried beneath layers of snow, the legacy of the doomed crew who had battled an unspeakable horror. For years, the thing had lain dormant, its essence scattered in microscopic fragments across the icy wasteland, waiting for the perfect host. But the world above was changing. Humanity's endless thirst for knowledge brought them back to the land of eternal cold. A multinational team of researchers, funded by a shadowy corporate entity, unearthed more than they bargained for, deep within a cavern beneath ancient glacial layers. They discovered an artifact older than recorded history, an obelisk of obsidian black, pulsing faintly with a crimson glow. Its inscriptions defied linguistic analysis, a language that seemed to pulse and slither when observed, its meaning lingering at the edges of comprehension. Among the team was Dr. Kane, an archaeologist with a specialty in lost civilizations. She immediately sensed the artifact's malevolent nature. There were whispers, unseen voices creeping into her dreams, urging her to leave it buried. But the corporate sponsors demanded progress, and against her warnings, the obelisk was transported to their research station. The excavation awoke something ancient, an entity that had been imprisoned within the ice for millennia. It called itself the Phantom, a primordial force of corruption and entropy, a rival to the Thing in its age and hunger. As the obelisk's presence disrupted the natural order, the Thing began to stir. The frozen fragments hidden in the environment began to thaw, reactivating with a terrifying urgency. The Phantom's influence spread like a cancer through the minds of the researchers, turning them into vessels for its will. Those corrupted began carving strange symbols into their flesh, chanting in tongues no human throat should produce. The Phantom fed on their fear and despair, growing stronger with each passing moment. The Thing, now reawakening, was drawn to this new presence. It recognized the Phantom not as prey, but as a competitor, a rival apex predator of assimilation. The two entities were fundamentally opposed in nature. The Thing consumed and became its hosts, integrating them into its biological network, while the Phantom obliterated individuality entirely, leaving only a void of its dark essence. The Phantom sought dominion over all sentience, while the Thing sought to replicate endlessly. Their goals, though seemingly aligned, were incompatible. There could be no coexistence. It began with subtle encounters. Researchers who fell under the Phantom's thrall vanished, only for their bodies to reappear grotesquely altered, their insides replaced by writhing alien tissue. Meanwhile, others fell victim to the Thing, their bodies mimicking humanity with uncanny precision, their eyes betraying the monstrous entity within. The station became a battleground of paranoia and carnage, with survivors torn between two horrors that defied comprehension. Dr. Kane, the last uncorrupted human, discovered the horrifying truth as she decoded fragments of the obelisk's inscriptions. The Phantom was not of this earth, but a remnant of an ancient war between primordial forces, exiled and sealed away by entities long forgotten. It sought to unmake creation, to reduce the universe to an endless void. The Thing, on the other hand, was a survivor from another world, a creature of instinct and survival, with no grand design beyond its endless propagation. Desperation drove Kane to make a dangerous gamble. She devised a plan to manipulate the two entities into a direct confrontation. Using the obelisk's energy signatures, she set a trap to lure the Phantom to the heart of the station, where the Thing had already begun to nest. Her hope was simple: let the monsters destroy each other, buying her enough time to escape. But as the Phantom's essence materialized in the station's core, and the Thing coalesced into a grotesque amalgamation of its victims, Kane realized the true horror of her plan. This was no mere clash of titans. It was the beginning of an apocalypse. The battle between these ancient enemies would not remain confined to the station. If unleashed, their war could consume the world. And so, in the flickering light of the doomed research station, the stage was set for the ultimate clash of cosmic horrors. The Phantom, embodiment of annihilation, against the Thing, master of assimilation. Two forces beyond human comprehension, locked in a battle for supremacy. The fate of the Earth hung in the balance.
Are you just watching?
Subscribe, please.
The air inside the research station grew heavy, pulsing with unnatural energy. Shadows writhed along the walls, whispering the Phantom's malevolent intent, while flesh and machinery fused grotesquely as the Thing expanded, asserting its dominion over the environment. Dr. Kane hid in the station's control room, her trembling hands gripping a flare gun as she watched the two ancient enemies prepare to clash. The Thing struck first. A massive appendage of sinew, teeth, and tendrils erupted from its grotesque form, surging toward the Phantom's manifested essence, a swirling void of darkness studded with glowing red fissures. The Thing's limb connected, but instead of tearing through its opponent, it disintegrated on contact. The Phantom's form absorbed the attack, reducing the Thing's tissue to blackened ash. The Phantom retaliated, releasing a pulse of crimson energy that swept through the station. Where it touched, the Thing's infected biomass writhed and shrieked, its assimilation undone as hosts were reduced to piles of lifeless flesh. Yet the Thing was not so easily defeated. From the ash and gore, it reformed, splitting into smaller, faster-moving entities that converged on the Phantom like a swarm of ravenous predators. Their combined attack forced the Phantom to shift its form, expanding into a towering vortex that lashed out with tendrils of dark energy. The station trembled under the strain of their conflict. Walls melted into sludge, and floors warped under the weight of the entity's power. The Thing adapted quickly, mimicking the Phantom's incorporeal form. Tendrils of bioorganic energy clashed against dark currents, the two entities vying for dominance in a battle of transformation and entropy. Yet, the Phantom held the upper hand. As the embodiment of annihilation, it attacked not the Thing's form, but its very essence. With every strike, it unraveled the Thing's cellular structure, erasing its ability to replicate. The Thing fought back with relentless ferocity, attempting to consume the Phantom's energy and assimilate its power. But the Phantom was no living organism. It was a void, a force beyond biological comprehension. Every piece of the Thing that touched it was obliterated, its matter reduced to nothingness. In a desperate gambit, the Thing pooled all its remaining biomass into a singular form, a colossal, grotesque titan that loomed over the Phantom's vortex. It charged, unleashing a deafening roar, its massive limbs swinging with enough force to crush steel. The Phantom, undeterred, condensed its swirling form into a singularity of pure annihilation. When the two collided, the resulting shockwave shattered what remained of the research station, sending Dr. Kane flying into the snow outside. When the dust and ice settled, only the Phantom remained. The Thing's biomass, once a near-infinite network of assimilated life, was gone. No trace of its presence lingered, not even the microscopic fragments that had once allowed it to survive and spread. The Phantom, victorious, turned its attention outward, its essence pulsing with renewed strength. Its prison had been shattered, and now it sought to unmake all creation. Dr. Kane, bloodied but alive, stared in horror at the entity. She knew the world was now at the mercy of a force that could not be contained. Yet, deep in her heart, she clung to a sliver of hope. The Thing was gone, but perhaps humanity could find a way to imprison the Phantom once again. As the shadow of annihilation began to spread across the ice. She resolved to warn the world of the coming storm. The battle was over, but the war for existence had only just begun. The Phantom had declared its supremacy, and Earth's darkest days lay ahead.